Imagine you are hiking up this pristine, towering alpine mountain peak, right?
Okay, I'm picturing it.
You are expecting the totally quintessential Swiss experience, crisp snow, fragrant pine trees, and just absolute untouched natural order.
Yeah, exactly. The classic postcard view.
Right. But instead, as you near the summit, you stumble upon the massive ancient skeleton of a bear, just pieced together and staring right back at you from the rock.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that completely disrupts your expectations of what a landscape like that actually holds.
Totally.
It's just this jarring reminder that long before there were, funiculars and manicured hiking trails, there was a raw, wild, pre-alpine reality. And it still lurks just beneath the surface.
And that contrast is exactly what we are exploring today. So a very warm welcome to you, our listener. We are incredibly grateful to have you joining us today for another deep dive.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Our mission for this conversation is to completely unpack a place that is often buried under its own postcard-perfect stereotype. We're talking about Lugano.
Lugano.
Yeah. It's this striking region in the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland. When most people hear the name, they picture, glimmering lakes, immaculate streets, and maybe some very quiet banking happening behind historic facades.
Right. It projects this image of being highly curated, almost like walking through a life-size diorama where everything is perfectly placed.
Exactly.
But to truly understand Lugano, you have to realize it is a unique geographical and cultural crossroads. It sits right on the border.
Yeah, it's basically a bridge.
Exactly. It acts as a bridge between the structured, cooler environment of Northern Europe and the passionate, vibrant culture of Southern Europe. And that collision is what creates the hidden dimensions we are going to explore.
Let's start with that curated surface, though, because that beauty is basically the foundation of the city's identity. And it has drawn people in for centuries.
Oh, absolutely.
Look at a figure like the writer Hermann Hesse. He arrives in Lugano, looks at the landscape, and famously falls completely in love at first sight.
He really did.
He takes up residence in the Casa Camuzzi, sitting right above Lake Lugano.
And it is crucial to understand that for Hesse, this wasn't merely like a scenic vacation home. The Casa Camuzzi became a profound creative retreat.
Right.
This is the exact environment where he wrote monumental classics like Siddhartha and the Glass Bead Game.
Which makes perfect sense when you think about it.
It does. If you think about the themes of a book like Siddhartha, the search for a middle way, for spiritual balance between worldly chaos and ascetic order, it makes perfect sense that he wrote it in a place that serves as a literal geographical middle way.
Yeah, the landscape itself is the middle way.
Exactly. And today, the foundation there continues that legacy by hosting thematic shows, lectures, and concerts right in that idyllic landscape.
You can almost feel that search for balance in the physical layout of the town itself, too. The geography is intensely dramatic. You have these tall, sweeping mountains that completely envelop the town.
Very dramatic.
But nestled right within that rugged nature, you find a historic center that feels remarkably ordered. It's this intricate maze of pedestrian cobbled streets and terracotta rooftops.
It is a very deliberate contrast. Take the St. Lorenzo Cathedral, for example.
Oh, yeah.
It's this early 16th century landmark that just dominates its space. It presents this beautifully austere Renaissance facade to the world. But the closer you get, the more layers reveal themselves.
Right, you step inside and it's totally different.
Exactly. You step inside or look closely at the details and you find these incredibly fine frescoes and intricate Baroque statues. The restraint of the exterior kind of gives way to a hidden artistic passion.
You see that exact same dynamic when you step out into the parks and plazas. Parco Civico Ciani is essentially the green heart of the city, sitting right between the Cassarate River and the lake.
It's gorgeous.
It's a total oasis filled with global flora, stunning villas, and it even houses the Natural History Museum. But if you want to understand the social mechanics of the city, you really have to look at the Piazza della Riforma.
Yes. The piazza is this sprawling neoclassical square, and socially, it acts as the primary meeting point for locals.
Right.
But architecturally, it does something truly fascinating. The grand neoclassical buildings of the piazza are not designed to dominate the skyline. They're deliberately arranged to frame the natural landscape.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, when you stand in the center of the square, your eye is constantly being drawn outward past the architecture to the mountains and the lake.
Oh.
So the city itself acts as a viewing gallery, turning the raw environment into a curated exhibition.
Okay, let's unpack this, because that brings up a fascinating psychological quirk. If the piazza turns the mountains into an exhibition, there is another place nearby that takes that desire for control and curation to its absolute extreme.
Swiss Miniature.
Yes, Swiss Miniature in Malide. This is an entire park featuring over 128 handcrafted models of Swiss buildings and monuments, and they are all built at an exact 1:25 scale.
It is quite a shift in perspective. I mean, you spend your morning feeling dwarfed by the Alps and your afternoon towering right over them.
Exactly. It's like a fractal. You zoom into the country of Switzerland on a map, you zoom further into the Italian-speaking region of Lugano, and right there in Malide, you find a perfectly ordered, tiny Switzerland waiting inside it.
It's surreal.
You can walk the paths and essentially comprehend the entire nation in about 2 hours.
And if we look at why a place like Swiss Miniature is so appealing, it really highlights a fundamental human desire for order. The Alps are wildly complex, right? They're dangerous, they're overwhelming.
Yeah, very much so.
So by shrinking that grandeur and the complexity of national architecture down to a 1:25 scale, it becomes manageable.
You can literally walk around it.
Right. It perfectly encapsulates that stereotype of Swiss neatness. Every building is in its right place, the lawns are manicured, and the entire country can be easily observed from a paved walking path. It offers the illusion of total environmental mastery.
But the reality of mastering this specific environment is a lot less pristine and a lot more gritty.
Definitely.
If we leave the manicured lawns of the miniature park and start looking at how people historically survived in this region, we uncover an entirely different relationship with the rock and the mountains. And that introduces us to the concept of the grotto.
What's fascinating here is where the intersection of geography and culture becomes truly real. Because if I say the word grotto, you probably envision like a damp, dark, natural cave.
Yeah, I have to admit, I initially pictured them just rolling wheels of cheese into random holes in the mountain.
Right. Most people do.
But it's much more sophisticated than that, isn't it?
Much more. In the Italian-Swiss context, a grotto is a highly specific architectural and cultural phenomenon. They are rustic storehouses. For centuries, the locals faced this brutal challenge of surviving the harsh alpine winters without modern mechanical refrigeration.
Right, so what did they do?
They actively exploited the morphology, the physical shape and geological structure of the pre-alpine rocky regions. They recognized that if they built these structures nestled into specific shaded slopes or underneath the shelter of large, porous rock formations, they could actually harness the natural thermodynamics of the Earth.
So they were essentially engineering a climate.
Precisely. The thermal mass of the stone, combined with the natural airflow drafting through the rock, created a highly stable, very specific microclimate.
Wow.
It maintained the exact temperature and humidity required to preserve their vital agricultural products, specifically the local cheese and wine. It was a matter of sheer survival. The grottos were essentially the lifeblood of the community's food security.
Okay, so just to get this straight, how do we get from a desperate, vital survival mechanism to what the grottos are today?
Right, the modern grotto.
Because now they are described as these symbols of leisure and conviviality. They are places where all sections of society go to eat local food and drink wine. It seems wild that the original natural refrigerator of the Swiss Alps slowly evolved into the ultimate local pub.